The afternoon sun hung low over Los Angeles when Jake Nolan pulled into the private estate driveway, his old red pickup standing in sharp contrast to the fleet of luxury cars parked under the marble archway. He'd been called to repair a rare vintage Bentley owned by one of the city's most powerful women, billionaire tech founder Alexandra Pierce. Jake wasn't used to these surroundings: crystal fountains, manicured lawns, and guards who looked at him like he didn't belong. But work was work. And under the hood, every car, whether a rusted Ford or a billionaire's toy, spoke the same language to him. Inside the house, Alexandra stood in the doorway, arms crossed. She was tall, elegant, and dressed in a fitted navy suit that screamed wealth and discipline. "You're the mechanic?" she asked, a little disbelief in her voice. Jake smiled easily, wiping his hands on a rag. "That's me, ma'am. Just tell me what she's doing wrong." Alexandra led him to the Bentley. "It just won't start. I've had 2 specialists come out already. One of them said the fuel system might be fried." Jake popped the hood and took a long, careful look. "Mind if I take a minute?" She hesitated, then nodded. He leaned in, his hands moving with quiet precision, checking the spark plugs, tracing the fuel line, listening as he turned the key just once. Within 5 minutes, his brow lifted slightly. "There's nothing wrong with your system, ma'am. Just a loose relay wire near the ignition." Before she could reply, he twisted the wire, turned the key again, and the car purred to life. Alexandra blinked, her confidence cracking for a moment. "You're kidding," Jake shrugged, smiling softly. "Sometimes even the smartest machines need a little human touch." Behind her, a small voice giggled. "Mommy, it's fixed!" They both turned to see Sophie, a 5-year-old girl with curly brown hair and a pink dress, clutching a stuffed bear. She ran over to the car, her eyes sparkling. "You made it work." Jake crouched down, smiling. "Guess I did, little lady." Sophie tilted her head. "You look like my daddy from my dream." Alexandra froze for a heartbeat, then forced a smile. "Sophie, honey, go inside. Mummy's working." But Sophie ignored her, stepping closer. "Can you come fix my scooter too? It's broken, and Mommy doesn't have time." Jake looked at Alexandra, then at the little girl's hopeful face. "Tell you what, if your mom says it's okay, I'll take a look." 10 minutes later, he was on the porch, kneeling beside a pink scooter with a bent wheel and a loose handlebar. Sophie chatted non-stop as he worked, about her school, her bear named Charlie, and how her daddy lives in the stars now. When Jake finished, he gave the wheel a spin. "There you go. Good as new." Sophie squealed and hugged him around the neck. "You're the best." For a moment the world seemed to stop. Jake's chest tightened. He hadn't felt that kind of innocent affection since his own daughter had passed away 5 years ago. Alexandra watched quietly from the doorway, something soft flickering behind her guarded expression. Later, as Jake packed his tools, she approached him. "How much do I owe you?" He shook his head. "Not much. Just standard labor. Call it 200. She raised a brow. "You fixed what 2 certified technicians couldn't. You're underselling yourself." He smiled faintly. "Money's not what I fix for." That line stayed with her. Alexandra wrote the check, but lingered as she handed it over. "You're different, Jake. Not many people would have taken time for a child." Jake shrugged. "Sometimes kids just need someone to listen." "Machines, too." She studied him for a moment longer. "Would you ever consider working full-time for my company? I own a custom tech garage division, and I could use someone who actually cares." He hesitated. "I appreciate that, ma'am. But I've got my little shop down in Glendale." "That's home!" Sophie, who had been hiding behind the door, suddenly ran out and hugged him again. "Bye, Daddy Jake." Alexandra gasped, embarrassed. "Sophie!" Jake just smiled softly, kneeling to meet her eyes. "You take care of that scooter, all right?" She nodded eagerly. "Promise!" Weeks passed. Jake went back to his normal rhythm. Oil changes, busted transmissions, and coffee from the same diner every morning. But one Friday, a black limousine pulled up to his small shop. Out stepped Alexandra and Sophie. The girl ran straight into his arms, shouting, "We came to visit." Alexandra smiled, looking around the modest but tidy space. "You weren't kidding. This place really is home." Jake rubbed the back of his neck. "It's not much, but it keeps me busy." She handed him a sealed envelope. "I wanted to thank you properly, not for fixing the car, but for reminding me what matters." He opened it, expecting a check. Instead, it was a partnership contract, offering him a stake in her company's new Heart of Steel program, focused on mechanical training for underprivileged youth. Jake looked up, stunned. "You're serious?" She nodded. "I don't make empty offers," Sophie grinned. "Now you have to visit us, Daddy Jake." Jake chuckled, eyes glistening. "Guess I do, kiddo." Months later, the program launched. Kids in coveralls, learning the art of engines, guided by Jake's steady hands. Alexandra often visited the garage, always bringing Sophie along. And sometimes, when she watched him teaching her daughter how to hold a wrench, her heart warmed in ways she hadn't expected. Jake didn't just fix cars. He repaired lives, one turn of the wrench at a time. And though he never asked for it, he'd found something far greater than money, a family that had been waiting for him all along.